So welcome to our first module in a 13 module series called Money Smart for Small Business Owners. And we're going to be looking at what it takes to be a business owner. If you were like I am, you had your own ideas of what it was like to be a business owner. And what I found out when I started being one was I was slightly wrong. You'll notice that here's my information, my name, my phone number, and my email address. There will be an evaluation at the end of your participant manual. I would love for you to fill that out, scan it, and send it to me at my email address. And let me show you where you can get that manual. You can use the QR code to get to the manual, or you can go directly to theurbanchamber.org/business-resources-copy and get your participant guide. The reason that we have a participant guide is it allows you to take notes. It allows you to follow through on some of the things that we're talking about that will also be in your guide, and it's a great piece of reference material. So we're going to do an assessment to figure out what you're doing, how you feel about being a business owner at the beginning of the class, and does that change when we get to the end of the class? Did you learn some things that made you say, yes, I'm making a good decision, or maybe I need to rethink that decision? Looking at our agenda, we're going to be talking more about what your motivation is, some business terms that you may or may not already know, some myths and realities of small business ownership. That's where I got stuck when I got started. What the roots of power are, and an action plan. So our learning objectives are to clarify some of those myths and realities of small business ownership. There's a bunch of them out there, and you've probably heard quite a few of them, and you don't know which ones are real and which ones are myths. I know I didn't. You want to do a self-assessment to determine your readiness to become a small business owner. And being a small business owner is not only about the product or service that you want to offer your client community, it's also about your mindset. It's about looking at things a little bit differently than you do as someone who is an employee of a company versus the person who owns and runs the company. And you want to set up an action plan. That's the biggest thing, because plan is a four-letter word that I really want you to use a lot. It's really about, let's figure out what the next step is. Now, does that mean the next step is going to happen? I don't know. I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not good at predicting the future. What I am good at is figuring out what needs to happen next and putting things in place to allow me to help those things happen in a positive manner. Stuff, as we know, we live in our own world, and we know stuff happens. What we want to be able to do as business owners is, when stuff happens, we want to be aware of it. We want to look at it firmly, eyeball to eyeball, and we want to make good decisions about what to do next. So we're going to start with working with our example. And our example is Marlena, and this is on page 4 of your participant guide. Marlena has the potential to become a successful business owner. She also has some concerns about business ownership. Well, that makes her very normal, doesn't it? And as we review Marlena's decision-making process, you want to ask yourself the same thing. Okay, is this role a good fit for Marlena? And is it a good fit for you? So let's look at what Marlena is actually saying that she wants to do. On page 4 is your, oh, excuse me. On page 4 is your case study about Marlena. And one of the things that we want to look at is who is she and what is she planning on doing? So Marlena is worried. She's uncertain if her employer at a chain hair care salon will be able to stay in business for much longer. Her boss makes bad decisions, has poor financial management, and lacks a customer focus. That doesn't sound very encouraging for someone who wants to stay in business, does it? As a seasoned stylist, Marlena knows that she has the skills to provide a high quality service to customers, and she thinks that she has the necessary skills to open her own salon or day spa. Over the years, thanks to her warm personality, Marlena has developed relationships with dozens of loyal customers. Her family has been encouraging too. They believe that her dream of opening a day spa that would provide exceptional services, a range of natural beauty products, and a relaxed, attractive atmosphere could be a success if Marlena is willing to put in the necessary time and make smart decisions. Marlena thinks that she could be a great businesswoman. She also has some doubts and fears. She needs to understand what it really means to own a business and make a decision that is right for her. Could you advise her about some of the realities of owning a business? Do you think owning a business is a good fit for her? And as we discuss this case, you will discover if going into business is a good fit for you. So if you have your participant guide, you can go to page 5. And if you don't, we're going to go through this anyway. Okay, we want to look at some of the things that we need to think about when it comes to being a business owner. So you're on page 5, there is a list of 10 things, and you can add more things to them if you like. But I want you to think about, do you want to be a boss? Marlena says, yes, she does. How about you? Do you like working with customers and do they like you? Now, I said like, the book says love. The difference between like and love is the passion that you have that you will be bringing to your potential customers. Marlena says, yes, her passion is high. What do you say about your passion for what you want to bring to customers? She says, I know this business well and I know I can make it work. Her passion for that is extremely high. What about yours? Do you know the business that you want to go in? Do you have the experience behind you? Do you have the skill level? Do you have the materials that you can do this and offer this to your customer base? So where do you think you are? The next question is, I want to make a lot of money so I can buy a bigger house and send my kids to college. Now, what do you feel about that? Why are you going into business? Are you going into business because you want to grow a large business and you can hire people and you can keep people employed in your business? You want to do this because you want to be able to take care of your family? Are you doing this because you want to do something for yourself that doing a job is not giving you that? You actually want to do this on your own? So those are some things that you need to think about as you look at what is your motivation. So Marlene says, I see a need and a demand for my small business. One of the things you need to look at as a potential business owner is, will somebody buy this? Does somebody actually want what I have to offer? If the answer is yes, then that is a good indication that maybe I should do this. I have something that is useful to the community and I want to offer this to the community. Think about, what are you great at doing? Okay. Marlene is great at being a hairstylist. What are you great at doing? Are you great at cooking? Are you great at construction? Are you great at coaching? There's so many options out there that you can make a business out of. What is the thing that makes you smile when you think about being a business owner? I can do this. I'm a great photographer, whatever it is. Make sure that that passion is there, because being a business owner is not an easy thing to do. It's a very rewarding thing to do. But if only you are doing this for the money, you're going to find that this is going to be very difficult. You need to have a passion for reaching out into the community to help them. Do you have a great service to provide? Do you want to create jobs? Do you want to create a family business? Is this a legacy business that you can pass on? Do you want to work full-time in this business, or do you want to work part-time in this business? Do you want to have a brick and mortar location, or do you want to just do this out of your home? So you see, there's a lot of things to think about. And what you need to do is, yes, Marlena is our case example, but you also want to think about what's happening with you. Where do you see yourself going? So let's look at some of those terms that we talked about, those business terms. What is a sole proprietorship? Okay, or what is a sole ownership? And these are terms that you may have heard before, but let's make sure that you have an understanding of what they mean. So a sole ownership or a sole proprietorship is just to say, I am the only person who owns this business. So sole means solo, only me. Okay. And so new rules in licensing say you can be a sole proprietor and be a husband and wife team. If you are a brother and sister team, you have to be a partnership. Okay. So what is a partnership? A partnership is a business that is owned by more than one person. So anytime I am in business with someone else, I am no longer a sole proprietor unless that is my spouse. I am now in a partnership agreement. And anytime you are doing business with more than just you, make sure you have it in writing, because it's very easy to say things that you think the other person understands, or that person says something that he or she thinks you understand and you don't have the same meaning. So make sure it's in writing, and I would highly recommend that you run it through an attorney. Do it while you're still in love, because there may come a time when one of the partners says, I don't want to be a partner anymore. Maybe I want to retire. Maybe I want to start a different kind of business. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It matters that the outcome would mean that the partnership is changing. So make sure that you have that agreement at the beginning so that it doesn't become a he said, she said kind of situation. What is a franchise? A franchise is a company has the ability to allow other people to use their processes, their names, their procedures. For instance, Burger King. I want to own a Burger King. Well, I can't go out and decide I'm going to start a Burger King on my own and I'm going to call it Burger King and people are going to come buy my food. It's not going to work that way. I'm going to have to go to Burger King and say, I would like to have a franchise of Burger King, and I will follow all the rules and regulations that Burger King already has in place so I can be successful selling Burger King food products to my customer base. What is a home-based business? This is a business that does not have a brick and mortar location. So I can't have a Burger King franchise out of my home. It actually has to have its own separate location where people can come and buy the products that I have. But I may be able to have a different kind of business out of my own. Okay. So it may be something that I'm starting on a small scale and I may want to keep it that way. Maybe I'm selling things through Amazon. Maybe I'm writing a book. Maybe I have a coaching business and I do my coaching online. So I have an office in my home that is dedicated to my business. That is a home-based business. Am I a startup business or am I a high growth business? Now, I've had clients who want to conquer the world. That's high growth. I have had clients who want to conquer the block. Either way, we all have to start someplace, but we need to know what that goal is that we're going after. If I want to conquer the block, there are some things that I'm going to do that are different than the person who wants to conquer the world. So one of the things that you want to do, and this is something that is extremely important, is that you want to have a group of trusted advisors that you can go to and ask questions. And let me put the emphasis on trusted. These are people who have been where you are, how they know how to go from where you are to help you get to the goal that you want. Those are the kinds of people that you want to have around you because you need a support system. And I talked a little bit before about what is a brick and mortar place. That's when I have a location that is separate from my home where people go to get my products or services. I can have an online business. I can be a coach, for instance. I do all of my business online. I work with individual clients, and we don't have to meet face to face unless that's something that we both agree on. And the last thing I want you to think about is out of all of this stuff, is there a business out there already that you say, wow, that looks like a good business? I'll give you a quick story. I was working with a client and his wife had just retired from a corporate job. And so she was thinking about starting a business and she wasn't really sure how to go about doing that. She wanted to be a florist. She loved flowers and she loved plants. And there was a little florist shop down the street from where she lived. And the lady, she would go in there a lot and talk to the lady. And the lady was telling her that she was seriously thinking about selling her business because she had gotten to the point where she didn't want to do this any longer. So what happened was I encouraged the person who had retired to go volunteer to work in the business. She didn't need the money. She had a good retirement. She needed the knowledge because she knew she liked flowers, but that's not good enough to run a flower business. So she volunteered to go work with the lady. The lady was extremely happy, taught her so much about the business, and she ended up buying the business for herself. The original owner retired, and the new owner now knew how to carry on, had a book of business of people who came into the floral shop. She knew then how to do things in the floral shop, not only buying product, how keeping product fresh, making sure that her customers are satisfied, understanding how to handle her finances, looking at how she was doing, setting up her goals for future in the business. Did she want to keep it at that one location, or did she want to then expand? So all of those things are things that you want to think about as you look at, do I actually want to be in business? By the way, there is no right or wrong answer. There's only your answer. So on page 7 of your participant manual, it talks about myths and realities of being in business. Okay. And what you want to look at is what makes sense for you. Starting a small business can be a huge personal sacrifice. We know that that is most definitely true. It means that we're going to be doing some things that we haven't done before. And it's going to take some different kinds of thinking on our part to figure out what is right for us and what is right for our family. So let's look at some of the questions that are asked. And you need to think about these questions. These are very important. Starting a business can be a huge personal sacrifice. There are a lot of emotional ups and downs. Absolutely. You have to get it right every time. Let me stop there for a moment. There is nothing in our lives that we get right every time. We always do something as we learn, as we grow. What was right last year may not be the right thing to do this year. So don't get into that mode of being a perfectionist, because that will keep you from moving forward. You do not need big cash reserve to be successful, but you do need cash reserve. How long can you function on the reserve money that you have while your business is growing? Keep in mind that as your business grows, you need to be taking care of it until it can take care of you. How long does that take? When I'm talking to my real estate friends, they tell me that they look at 6 months. I need to have a reserve of about 6 months so that I can pay bills and not be stressed out and still get my job done. After about a year, you can relax and enjoy the profits. That's probably not true, because after a year, you're just getting your footing started. And now things that you're going to be doing in your second year of business are going to be different than things that you did in your first year of business. You're not just starting up, you're now actually in business. What are you doing? What can you continue to do that makes sense? And what changes do you need to make to keep you moving forward? It's easy to get loans for a great idea. That's yes and no. There are lenders out there who are very interested in your idea, but what you have to do is bring it to them and speak to them in their language so that they actually understand what your idea is, how you are going to turn your idea into something tangible. And what lenders are always looking for is, if I lend you money, am I going to get it back? So we always need to be looking at, when we go ask for someone else's money, we need to have a plan in place that shows them that this is a good investment. And yes, they are going to get that money back because we are running the business correctly. Successful entrepreneurs do it all themselves. Now, I do hope that you all just said, oh, absolutely not. When you go into business, whether you are a sole proprietor or not, you always have somebody else's help. You cannot do all this on your own, which is why I talked about having trusted advisors. You will not have a boss. That's a resolving no. Everybody will be your boss. Your customers will be your boss because they'll tell you what they like and what they don't like. Your vendors will be your boss because they'll tell you what's available and what's not. You are going to be constantly looking at how to improve this business, how to make this business work for you and to work for your customers. You will have more freedom, control, and work-life balance. Probably not, especially at the beginning. That is a combination that you're going to have to learn as you work. You're going to have to learn how to make sure that you put time in for you, to make sure that you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the business and controlling those things that you can and understanding those things that you can't. And you must find a way to have a work-life balance, because if all of your attention is on the business, it's stressful. If all your attention is on the family, that's stressful, and it means the business will not be successful. So you've got to find a way to balance the two. Again, back to your trusted advisors, because they will tell you things that will help you make that transition from being an employee to being an employer. When you're an employee and you get off at 5, your workday is finished. When you are an employer, you don't get off at 5. You get off when you get the work completed. And so you then have to learn one of the most important skills of being a business owner, and that is time management. Managing your time well so that you can have a full life. And the last thing is, starting a business is risky. It can be, but it can be less risky if we take the time to look at it honestly and sit down and do our planning. So here are the answers to all those questions that we talked about, okay? And it's important to you to find that, what does this mean for you? Okay? What does this mean for you? So let's look at what the roots of power are. We have strengths. We all have strengths. We also have things that we don't do very well. Now, because we don't do them well does not mean that we can ignore them when we're in business. We have to do the things that makes the business grow. If we don't do those things well, we need to learn how to do them well, or we need to hire someone who does them well. So we're looking at the four roots of a business. One is going to be people. We know what that is. That's going to be people that we hire. That's going to be people that we're in business with. It's going to be people that we're asking for their money. It's going to be people that we're asking them to invest in our business. Okay, so the biggest part of the business that we're doing is going to involve business. If you are in business as a solopreneur, you are a single business owner. It does not mean you are in business by yourself. From a sales standpoint, we need to set and attain sales goals. I need to know as a business owner how much I need to have in revenue. I need to have in sales in order to support my business and the aspects of my business. From a financial standpoint, we need to know that our finances are secure. If I go to a lender and ask the lender for money, what is the lender going to be looking at? The lender's going to be looking at, am I someone that the lender would actually want to give money to? So I need to make sure that my finances are understandable, they're clear, they're secure. I'm watching everything that's coming in and going out because that money makes a difference. And then there's always the self-discipline. And I look upon this not only as self-discipline, but as I mentioned before, as time management. What are the things that I'm doing? Am I spending time doing the things that move me forward? Am I feeling the energy of the passion that I have for my business? If any of that is waning, I need to be talking to one of my trusted advisors because maybe something's going on that I'm not seeing. It is extremely important that we talk about all these aspects of business, not necessarily the techniques of business, but looking at what actually happens to me as a business owner. So what Marlena said in her assessment was that she was high in easygoing and likable. She was an active listener. She's honest. Honesty and integrity are extremely important in business. She's respectful for others, and she has a strong vision and a belief. She thinks I can do this business. What she's not high in is connecting and networking, and that may be something that you have too. Some small business owners have a hard time talking to other people about their businesses. They'll do one of two things usually. I did them both, and I found they both didn't work. One of them was being very quiet and not telling people what you do as a business owner. And as one of my friends tells me constantly, there's no such thing as a silent business owner. You need to let people know who you are and what you're doing because they can then come and see if they want to purchase your services, if they want to work with you in any way. The other thing that you don't want to do is be so timid that you don't talk to anyone. You don't go out and network. You don't meet people. You don't let people know who you are. And I was talking to a friend over the weekend who said to me, well, you're an extrovert. A lot of people are introverts. Networking is not about being an extrovert or an introvert. It's about learning about people who could be your customers. Networking is very easy. I look at it as a three-pronged thing. It's all you do is to say, hello, my name is Brenda, and you are, that's step number one. Step number two is letting the other person say, oh, Brenda, my name is Mary. What do you do, Mary? Well, I have a blah, blah, blah. I do this and that. Whatever it is that they're doing, that's step number two. Let them talk about themselves. You have not talked about you. You let them talk about themselves. Step number three, shut up, be quiet, have nothing to say. Your mouth is closed, your ears are open, because you don't know if this is a potential customer, a potential vendor, a potential investor, a potential supporter, and you don't know any of that until you let them tell you what their issues are. And they may say, oh my goodness, I have this stiff neck. It drives me crazy. And you're a masseuse. Now you know this is a potential customer. Now you know how to actually craft your conversation so that you can help that person solve their problem by being a customer of yours. And it also says that Marlene is not that confident in her management and supervisory skills. So she either needs to learn how to be better or hire someone who is good at that and learn from, as they do their work, she's going to learn from how they're doing it. She can also go to her trusted advisors and start asking questions. Who's good at this? Who do I know that knows how to manage people well? And what kind of advice can that person give me? Not everything is, I need to go take a class, but trust me, a lot of those classes are most definitely worth it. Learn to be as good as you can and hire people who are very good at doing whatever the thing is that you are not that good at doing. It's important to our customer base because our customers don't care whether we're good at something or not. They care how they're being treated. They care how the product works. They care about the service that's offered. Okay? So when you look at all of this and you look at the roots of power, what you want to be thinking about is people. You want to be thinking about the sales. You want to be thinking about the finances, and you want to be thinking about your self-discipline. And in your manual, you're going to have all of those listed for you. And I highly recommend that you do that. You give yourself that assessment. Give yourself that assessment now. Start doing some things as you're making decisions. Start doing some things that are moving you in the direction that you want to go to. Go back to this assessment. I would think in the first year, if you decide you want to be a business owner, I would do this assessment once a month because I'm learning things and I'm getting better at things. And part of what happens to us is we learn things and we forget where we were at the beginning. And we think, oh my gosh, I haven't learned all the things that I need to know. Well, if you go back and you look at your assessment, you go, wait a minute, I've been on a steady growth of all of these pieces that I need to know. I started out at 0 And now I'm at 2, and then I'm at 4, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to see the progress that you're making. It is extremely important that you understand that for yourself. So when I talk about trusted advisors are not the people who love us so much that they tell us go get a job. That doesn't mean they don't love us, and it doesn't mean that they don't care about us. It does mean that we need to have people in our purview, our support system, that are helping us move toward whatever that goal is. Maybe that goal turns out to be, I don't want to be a business owner and I do want to go back to my job. That's okay. If my decision is I want to step away from that being someone else's employee and I want to have a business of my own, then I need to have people around me who can help me do that. Not just pat me on the back and tell me I'm doing a good job, but who can be honest with me, who can actually talk to me in a way that helps me understand what the next steps are. So I'm looking at family and friends. Are they going to be there and support me? Because I'm going to have some long hours to work because I'm starting this from scratch. Even if I were starting a franchise, for me, I'm starting from scratch because I still have to learn how to work within the franchise. If I'm starting my own business based on my skill level, my knowledge level, I've got to learn how to turn that into something that my business can offer customers. When I'm looking at customers, what do they want? A lot of customers, a lot of people who say they're my customers want stuff from me, but they're not willing to pay the price that I need them to pay. So that's another decision that I've got to make that says, wait a minute, am I going to be able to offer them this product or service and not get the compensation that I need? How do I know what I need, by the way? Well, what are my costs? How much does it cost me to put together this thing that I'm selling? I have a widget that I sell to people. I think it's the greatest widget out there. I have confidence in this widget. I know that there are other people who sell this widget, but mine is better. So what do I do to let people know that my widget is a better widget? What do I do to look at what the people out there have as issues, and my widget will come in and solve those problems? But how much does it cost me to do that? Do I have to manufacture the widget? Do I have to get some more learning and knowledge in order to be able to offer the widget? Do I get this widget out to customers in such a way that I can pay for my office space, even if I'm working from home? One of those rooms in my house is my office. I need to be able to pay myself for that office space. I need to pay for my equipment. I need to pay for my delivery system. Am I putting this in a box and sending it to someone? Am I paying for it by using an online service? And I can handle this by online working with people. So what are the things that I have to pay for that will allow me to get my widget to the customers? Only then, when I know my costs, can I actually have an accurate feel for what my pricing is. If you don't know how to do the costing and if you don't know how to come up with the price, again, that's why you want to talk to a trusted advisor. Talk to other business owners who will be helpful. Don't feel that, oh my gosh, well, they're selling widgets and I'm selling widgets. I can't talk to them because I'm their competition. Well, that may not be the person that you want to talk to. Maybe you want to talk to someone who is in a different industry, but has some of the same issues that you have. There will come a time when you may need some money that you don't have. That means that you're going to go ask somebody else for their money. Okay. OPM is other people's money. You have to prove to that other person that you know how to manage the money that you already have so that when you reach out to ask for more money, they have confidence that you can manage that well and that they can get their money back. And you can also look at potential partners. Maybe you've used up all the skills and knowledge that you have, and you need to bring somebody else into the business as a partner who can pick up those things that you don't know how to do. You can concentrate on the things that you're good at. That person can concentrate on the things that he or she is good at. So all of these questions that you're asking about becoming a business owner, remember that you need to have that support system. You need to have those trusted advisors. And when we get to the end, I'll show you some of the resources here in the state of Nevada who can do that and help you walk through this process. And oddly enough, they don't charge you. Oh, that's right. I told you a good four-letter word was plan. The other good four-letter word is free. So now when you look at all of these things that we've talked about, let's look at some kind of an action plan. So when you have your participant guide on page 14, you will see there's some information there that you start building your own plan. Okay. So you've done your self-assessment. You've had conversations with people. You've started talking to trusted advisors. And so what do you need to start doing or stop doing or continue to do? You need to look at where you are right now in the process and where you want to get to. And then we start to build that plan that says, this is my first step, this is my second step, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So this is extremely important for you. This isn't about how George did this. This is about how you are doing this. Maybe George's advice is going to help you see something that you didn't see before, but this is really about you, your goals. So the extra self-assessments are provided for different kinds of industries too. So you can figure out what kind of industry you are and then start looking at what do those industries need. This is a general idea. This program is put together with people really thinking through what they feel that you need to have in your head as you're trying to make these assessments. But what you want to think about is how do I'm at the starting line. I want to get to the finishing line, but what is it going to take for me to do that? There are things that if I'm in construction that I need that are different than if I'm in a food business. What are those things? If I'm not sure about what those things are, I need to be talking to my trusted advisor. And these little forms that are in your participant manual will really be helpful for you, kind of like incentives to help you think through what you need to do. So let's look back at what we've been talking about. So we all know that we have strengths and weaknesses, and the key is to recognize what you're good at and develop what you need to. If you in a business, there are certain things that need to be done. Because you do not know how to do them does not mean they don't still need to be done. So your job is to find a way to get them done. Does that mean that you go and learn how to do them? Does that mean that you hire someone who already knows how to do them? That's part of your planning. And you need to have a clear plan of action. We've all heard of a business plan. When I was working with clients one-on-one, I did not want to see their business plan until I see their business model canvas or their lean model canvas. And both of those are one page. There's 9 different sections to them. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go online and look them both up, the lean canvas and the business model canvas. If you start there. You start by taking stuff out of your head, putting it down on paper, making sure that it is making sense to you. And from there, you can start moving forward. Now, a business plan is your plan of action. This is what I want to do in my business, and this is how I want to do it. But you want to start with the business model canvas or the lean canvas because you've got to get the stuff out of your head and into a place that makes sense. Ask a range of knowledgeable people for advice. These are your trusted advisors. And always get to know your banker. Well, you said, but I don't have a banker. I don't, I just go, I get direct deposit from my job. It goes directly into the bank. I pay my bills. I don't even go into the bank. If you're thinking seriously about becoming a business owner, go to the bank, meet the business manager, and start building a relationship. Build the relationship now. You may not need to go and ask for money for 5 years, but when you do that, you already have the relationship. Isn't it easier for somebody who already knows who you are, knows how your business is running, and can help you in that process versus you walking into the bank and go, "Hi, I'm a business owner. I've been in business for 5 years and I'd like to have some money." It's better to build the relationship. The relationship is extremely important. So when you're looking at the roots of power, look at, again, who are the people? How do you get money coming into the business? How well are you managing your finances? And how well are you managing you? Do any of you have any questions?
You said that we should possibly like have a mentor in business. That's kind of the way I was perceiving it. The particular mentor that I'm considering, she is now successful with her business, but she's only been in it for about 4 years. And so she's kind of a new, I would say she's, I mean, in my opinion, a relatively new at it. Um, would you consider that like a good partnership, or should I try to find someone that's been more at it for like 15, 10 years, something like that?
It doesn't hurt to have someone that you feel comfortable with. And a lot of the things that she has already gone through are things that you're going to go through. And
Okay.
they're fresh in her head. But I'm going to answer that question in a minute. I've
Okay.
got all kinds of resources for you. And I want you to take advantage of those resources. This is what the state offers. And the state offers some really good resources, some really good events that you can go to where you can meet other people. The most important thing about, well, the two most important things I think about being a business owner are getting control of me so that I can do a good job in my business and getting out there and building relationships with other people. When I go networking, my job is not to get 100 business cards. My job is to connect with one or two people that I can actually sit down and talk with. Okay, so hang in there. Any other questions? We talked about Marlene. We've decided what she's going to do because she's said, yes, I think I want to be a business owner. So she's ready to move to the next step of business ownership, which is the planning. And if she were my client, I would tell her, look at the business model canvas or look at the lean canvas and bring it in. And then that's when the two of us will have a conversation. She knows she can't do it alone. She's open to a partnership with someone who has skills that she lacks. And that's what you're looking for in a partner. If you're really good at sales, you don't want a partner who's really good at sales. Because who's going to be handling the office? Who's going to be handling the operations? Who's going to be handling the finances? Okay. So you're looking for someone who is a counter to you. If both of you are really good at sales, you're going to have to hire the other stuff. That's not a bad thing to have to hire it, but just be aware that it still has to be done. And then Marlena says that she needs to do more homework before she can make a well-informed decision. And that's most of us. That our emotions tell us one thing, but we then have to put on our thinking caps and do some research. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the last page of your participant guide, fill out the evaluation form and email it to me. I'm going to come back to this slide because I want to continue our conversation on resources. So one of the resources is the state of Nevada. It's a department called Business and Industry. You can click on the QR code or you can go to business.nv.gov. They have what they call a roadmap. And the roadmap is basically, hi, I decided I want to go in business and I have no idea what to do. So I can be at the very beginning where I said, I just need to get some help. Then you click on getting help and it takes you to a lot of resources that are out there that can help you. Or maybe I need some training. I don't exactly know what I need. I just think that I don't know enough about business. And I can go click on training. And it talks about classes like what we have here at UNR. That talks about things that are available out in the community. What are the chambers doing that they're offering to help, So it gives you resources that you can go to and you find what works best for you. Well, I've been in business for a while and somebody told me that there's some kind of regulation that I'm supposed to be getting. Then I'm going to go to business licenses. What is it that I need to know? And are there any other things out there that I don't know about that I need to be aware of? So I can click on other licenses and permits. The whole purpose of the business roadmap is that no matter where you are on the journey of your business success, the state says we've got something that can help you. We have information that will help you. Now, this is not stuff that people will do for you. These are resources that you can start to talk to these resources, find out who they are, what they do, and why it's important that you get connected. There is also a resource day that is available here in Nevada. It is in Las Vegas and it's also in Reno. So it's in Las Vegas on one day and it's in Reno on the next. And let's just say you got stuck on something. You have all this paper that you have, or these things that you need to look at, but you know what? It's a little confusing and it can't seem to get through to anybody on the phone. A resource day, that's nothing but resources. And you walk around and you can talk to people eyeball to eyeball, face to face. And you can say, this is my issue. I need help. If you went to the wrong table, they will send you to the right table so that you know exactly what it is that you need. And you make those appointments and you sit down and talk to these people so that you have it clear in your mind what you're doing. So that's the Department of Business and Industry. It's a great, great resource here in the state of Nevada. We also have here at UNR Extension a virtual video classroom. So someone asked me if this class would be recorded. And I probably should have said this at the beginning, this class is being recorded. So when we do classes, especially if I'm doing classes online, I want to make sure that those online classes then go into our virtual video classroom and you can go back to them as often as you like. Again, these classes are for you. Some classes are 20 minutes, some classes are 2 hours. It depends on what's out there. This class is an hour and a half. Okay, so you have the QR code. You can just go to that and it will take you directly to extension.unr.edu/BUSDEV for business development. Another resource we have is going to our website, and you can not only see just a virtual classroom, you can also see the classes that we have coming up. You can see the podcasts that have been done. You can see our business resource partners. We try to have this available to you because sometimes going on the internet as a whole and looking for stuff can be a little bit overwhelming. Hopefully, this will help you find exactly what you're looking for. You do have my information. You are always free to contact me. Please understand that if you do contact me, I may not be available at that time, but that's okay. I will get back to you. You can always make an appointment with me on my calendar also, okay? And this is our podcast. Our podcast is done in English and in Spanish. The podcast is a very simple concept. These are people who are helping small businesses. That's what we're looking for. Are you a small business? Let's talk about your journey because that journey will help someone else along their journey. Are you a resource? You are a resource that can help a small business move forward. Are you a potential customer? Are you a politician? Everything is geared toward what are we doing to support the small business community? And this is our podcast. We're on Spotify. Please subscribe and like us. And I think that you'll be very happy that you have started listening to our podcasts. They usually run probably 20 to 40 minutes. And we've had some people on that you know, we had people on that you've never heard of before, but have just that little piece of information that you need that will get you over that, get an answer to that question. It's also, like I said, it's in English and it is in Spanish. Another trusted advisor is the Small Business Development Center. So you can go to nevadasbdc.org, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to request advising. And when you do, it will take you to this page. And this page, you will go to New Client Sign Up. If you are already a client of the Small Business Development Center, get in touch with your advisor, make an appointment, and sit down and start having that conversation. These people are people who they must have a degree in order to do this, but they also must have been or are business owners. So they're not speaking to you from what comes from a book, they're speaking to you from what they know. So these are good people to talk to and to have that conversation with. And you want to be as honest as possible because your honesty helps you move forward. Don't tell them what you think they want to hear. Tell them the truth of what's happening. Because if there's something that needs to be corrected, let's start correcting it now. There is also an organization called SCORE. SCORE is, it used to stand for the Senior Council of Retired Executives, I think. Okay. Now they just call themselves SCORE. And these are people who are business mentors. So what is the difference between being an advisor and a mentor? Well, not a whole lot, to tell you the truth. But SCORE has people, they volunteer to do this work. And these people have worked in different areas of business, and they're there to hold your hand as you walk through the process. The difference in how SCORE works and how SBDC works is SBDC is there to guide you, and they'll give you information and you have to go do it and then come back to them and you sit down and have that conversation again. With SCORE, they're there if I'm having trouble in understanding marketing, I don't understand all the pieces of marketing. I really need somebody who's going to listen to me and walk me through the marketing process. Then SCORE has a marketing mentor who will walk you through that process. So they're going to give you stuff to do because you still have your work to do. This is your business. But they're also going to be there and say, if you need me to hold your hand more, I'll be there to hold your hand more. So SCORE is also a very good place where you can have a trusted advisor. So I'm going to go back. I wanted you to see the resources. The resources are available. Obviously, I didn't put them all in here because I couldn't. But I want you to know that this is who I am. I'm Brenda Bryant. This is my phone number. It is a cell phone, and you can leave me a text. If you text me or if you email me, please tell me who you are, what you want the conversation to be about, and how best I can reach you. Okay? And so if you are looking to get your participant manual, this program is done in conjunction with the Urban Chamber here in Las Vegas, and the manuals are located on their website. We do this class, all 13 classes, in person also. We highly encourage people to take the in-person classes because we're talking about building those relationships, starting to have a support team. Those are the people that are in class with you. Those are the people that you can start networking with, that you start to understand who they are, what they do, so that you can tell them who you are and what you do. Make sure that you get that participant manual. If you're going to be with us for as many of the classes as you can for the series, download those participant manuals for yourself and have them, and you can go through them, look to see what they have to offer, bring whatever questions that you have, so that we learn from what you're learning from. So you may ask a question that no one else has thought to ask, and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, I need to know that." That's why we want to have the interaction. So that was a long-winded class. I spent a lot of time talking about things that hopefully will help you decide if you want to continue on the path of being a business owner, or if you want to continue on the path of being an employee. There is no right or wrong answer. It is the answer that you choose. So any other questions before we close out?
So the in-person classes, those are only offered in Vegas, correct?
Right.
Okay. And then
And where are you located?
I'm in Northern Nevada. I'm in Yerington, so it's rural.
So you
Um,
don't want to get in a car and drive down for a
uh,
1.5 hour class
yeah, it'd
and
be
drive
probably
back?
about a 9-hour trip one way.
And that's one of the reasons that I'm actually putting these online, because there are people in other parts of the state who have been talking about these classes,
Mhm.
and I can't go to them and they can't come to me. So that's why I'm taking the time to do these classes and making sure that they're going to be in the virtual classroom for anyone who wants them.
Well, and I appreciate that greatly.
If
Okay.
any of you want these slides that I went through, that all of that's going to be in your participant manual, but if you would like to have the slides, let me know. And you just drop me a line. That I need an email for, and
Okay.
I'll be happy to do that. Okay.
Also, just wanted to say thank you. This was very, very, very
Yes.
helpful. And I loved the handouts.
So good, good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. And if you have any questions as you go through this process, I am a certified financial trainer and coach. So I'll be happy to help you in any way that I can. I am also a certified business coach. I did work for the Small Business Development Center, and I was an advisor there. So all of this stuff that I'm telling you, I've got the background to help you, but we also have other people around, which is why you want the trusted advisors. And there are people who know stuff I don't know, just
Okay.
like there are people who know stuff you don't know. Let's find them and let's find out what they know that can help us.
Agreed.
Yep.
Thank
All
you.
right, great.
Thank,
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Have a
Thanks. Take care.
wonderful afternoon. Yes.
You
You
too.
too. Okay, bye bye.